want to transition now to back to the NBA, because the other team that's been crashing the headlines and has been consuming a lot of our time and our attention span is the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets started off slow. They're 1-2, and Kevin Durant actually came out yesterday and defended the team and reiterated his unwavering faith in this team, despite the 1-2 start, that the team can still win even without Kyrie Irving. He said that even at 1-2, the Nets, we can't rely on Kyrie Irving to save us, was his quotes. And let me first say, I completely agree with Kevin Durant here. It's understandable why the Brooklyn Nets at 1-2 might appear to be in trouble. And I'm not going to make any early predictions, or I certainly don't believe that they are absolutely in panic mode. It's certainly way too early to reach the panic button or anything like that. I'm not saying that. There's no need to panic or overreact right now. It's the first 3 games of the season. But I do think, though, that there are things that you can glean from these first 3 games. Because you look at the first 3 games of the season, and let's think about how they've all transpired. They were blown out by the Milwaukee Bucks by 23 points. They lost their home opener to the Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball, by 16. And their only win of the year was a narrow 5-point win on the road against the Philadelphia 76ers without Ben Simmons or any compensation for him. So that's a little bit concerning given who we thought this team was. And Kevin Durant has always been amazing. He's probably the best player in the NBA, although Giannis and LeBron certainly are making cases against that, especially Giannis. But Durant's averaging 33 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists per game. He's been stellar through the first 3, dropped 32 in the opener, a 29-point triple-double in the win over the 76ers, and then 38 points last night. But here's the problem. The problem is, without Kyrie Irving, what's being revealed is the lack of dynamism and floor spacing for the Nets. Offensively, they're not the same team, which we knew would be the case. But I don't think what we quite realized was quite perhaps how deficient they can be from the playmaking position. And the issue is right now, James Harden, he's playing like an all-star. He's playing like an all-star. Let's be clear. He's averaging 18 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. He's playing like an all-star, but he's not playing like an MVP caliber player, which is who the Brooklyn Nets need him to be right now. That's who the Brooklyn Nets need him to be right now. And he's not playing like that. We were envisioning him legitimately being the 1B to Durant's 1A. And it's been more like Durant is 1A and Harden is 2B or 2A. He's clearly the second fiddle. And that shouldn't be happening with Kyrie not out there. And you look at the lack of playmakers that right now they have. Yes, Durant can score. Yes, James Harden can score, even though those two were the only 2 guys to score in double digits against the Hornets. But outside of that, without Kyrie Irving, the only other playmaker they have is Patty Mills. And so I think that Kyrie Irving's absence has really exposed the lack of playmaking that actually exists within this team. And they're a lot more predictable on offense. They're a lot more predictable to game plan against, to game plan for. You can't stop Durant, but he's easier to defend against without an additional playmaker. He's still going to get his because he's 6'11". You can't block his shot. He's got a handle. He can do everything. But without Kyrie Irving, now the floor continues to shrink. Joe Harris hasn't been really living up to that contract as of yet. The additions of Paul Millsap and LaMarcus Aldridge have had some moments, but again, they might have to turn to Cam Thomas, their rookie, perhaps for some instant offense, because right now they're just not really getting it. And I just think that for for the Nets, what Kyrie Irving's absence again is exposing is perhaps how more one-dimensional this offense is, and kind of the lack of dynamism that can kind of exist within this offense. And you just see just how different this offense is. But again, it's also the floor spacing. The floor shrinks, it condenses a lot more, and they just don't have quite as many playmakers as we think. When you got Kyrie, KD, and Harden out there, well, now that's three legitimate playmakers you have to game plan for. Now, obviously, you don't. And of course, Kevin Durant is going to defend his team and claim that they have more than enough to still win, which again, I do believe is true to be the case. I think that a lot of their early season struggles right now are a byproduct of all the kind of tumult that they've had to navigate so far through the first week of the season and through the offseason of the uncertainty of having Kyrie. I think a lot of that is taking a toll on them. And this is just the beginning of what I think will be a season-long distraction with Kyrie not being a part of the team. Just incessant questions being directed at KD. Do you think you can win? Do you think you guys could have won this game without Kyrie? It's already happening. We're 3 games in, and he's already being asked questions about this. And I just think that eventually it can wear on you. It can seriously wear on you, and will probably have a deleterious effect on the team. So far, we're seeing that it has. We're seeing that it has, not only on the court, but off the court. They're already being asked these questions. So I always thought that the Nets were going to be an NBA title favorite with Kyrie. Even without Kyrie, I thought they're more than capable of reaching the NBA Finals. But without Kyrie Irving, I did say they're more than capable, but I wouldn't put them as the favorite anymore. In the Eastern Conference, the Bucks probably have them ahead of them. Miami's looking good. The Bulls are undefeated all of a sudden. Who knows what's going to happen with the 76ers, what type of compensation they'll get for Ben Simmons, if any. I mean, the Hawks are coming and are here. There are a lot of interesting teams. The Celtics, the Knicks, who knows? There are a lot of really good teams, and it's a big void that they're trying to fill right now, and they haven't been able to do it. They haven't been able to do it so far.